Marion County has faced a lot recently, including last week. It did tornado damage last week, kind of near Jefferson and whatnot. Here's another week, and here on this lake, Bullfrog Marina. And so, as far as what we're seeing out here, and as far as the winds and everything, what can be told?
So, if you look at Marion County on a map, Marion County is very long, very narrow. We get a lot of wind gusts, high and low, anywhere between 65 and 20 miles an hour when a storm comes through. If you look at the southern mid portions of Marion County, it's cut up by a water source, Lake of the Pines, and that just there's obviously no trees over lake, so the wind shear just multiplies, times whatever. And yesterday afternoon, we had an incident here at Bullfrog Marina yesterday afternoon around 4 o'clock where we had a high wind storm blow through, and as you have seen and most of your viewers have seen, it toppled a deck out here at the marina. Last week, we had an EF2 tornado that blew through the county just north and east of here. It damaged quite a few homes and property. Luckily, out of these two storm events, we've only had 2 injuries, no deaths reported, no one's in ICU, everybody's safe. Property can always be rebuilt, and people's lives and the way they make their living is a little bit harder to deal with on a day-to-day. As you can see, at Bullfrog, that we're getting into their busy season, It's crappie season here on Lake of the Pines. We're moving into spring, which is going to really get the bass season going. You got a lot of people coming to Lake of the Pines. This is this guy's season, and here he is having to deal with this. So hopefully we can get things back to normal as soon as we possibly can.
Right, yeah.
I was on the phone with the Texas Department of Emergency Management on my way here this morning just to talk through the what's next, how do we go from here? So, well, these guys with the Corps and the game wardens and the Sheriff's Department, everybody is going to do everything as safely as possible. When you have a dock on top of a boat storage unit, safety's always paramount, but people don't usually remove docks off of boat storage buildings on a day-to-day basis, so everybody's out of their comfort zone at this point. We're just, doing the best we can. Well, this is Marion County. We help each other out here. We don't wait for the state of Texas, and we don't wait for the federal government. We just get things done here. If there's a neighbor in need, it's all hands on deck, and that's typically how it's been since I've became county judge, and I imagine it's going to be that way 100 years from now.
100 years.
We're right now deciphering a lot of the when something like this happens, you get a lot of calls at the county judge's office and the sheriff's department with folks wanting to help, and you got to kind of someone has to lead all of this help. So at this point, we're just trying to feel our way through the dark. The really good thing about Northeast Texas is we have some of the best meteorologists in the country. Last week's storm, there was a prior warning. This storm, there wasn't really anything I think that could be picked up on radar as far as wind's concerned, but we've got great meteorologists, and people here know when something's going on. They trust the meteorologists around here. So I guess all we can do now is watch and wait and see what happens. Pray to God that we are relieved of this for the rest of the season. I hope to God we are. This is a staple of Marion County, and you may or may not remember, in 2021 we had the same sort of incident, except it was winter weather. It was ice and snow, and the thing collapsed in. So moving forward, I just hope and pray that we get everything squared away here so these folks can get back to doing what they do, feeding their family and tending the folks out here, and just try to get some kind of normalcy.